Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless Lights coming at you today with a look at the Nitecore HC75 UHE. Now this is going to be more on the rugged, industrial, kind of heavy duty side of things when it comes to headlamps. Now when it boils down to it, I always like to maintain a few different headlamps on hand. First of all, I maintain a minimum of at least one headlamp per family member. Right now, 5 family members, me, my wife, my 3 kids. So I maintain at least one headlamp for each one of them. In my opinion, the ability to work hands-free and then have quality light, it's just ideal, and you never know what situation you're going to run into. Second is, I like to have a lightweight backpacking quality headlamp with me, but I also like to have a more rugged, robust, kind of industrial workhorse headlamp. And well, check this out. This is going to be that for sure. This having 8 independent LEDs, high quality, rugged nature. This is an absolute beast. Coming in with a maximum 3000 lumen turbo mode, 192 meters of throw. This will have a total candela output of around 9,216. So that's your peak beam intensity. The 21700 powerhouse, the battery on the inside, the ability to charge this, IP68 water resistant, just a rugged, robust light. And so the first thing I think a lot of people will appreciate, the fact that this is a replaceable lithium-ion battery, the 21700. This is Nitecore's NL2155 HP, 5500 milliamp hours. This again, being 3.6 volts, will translate to 19.8 watt hours of power. Good quality battery. I've had many of these. And again, having the larger form factor of the 21700, but in this particular case, that's a good thing where this is going to be a larger light. It's going to be heavier in the first place, but you're going to get that 21700 performance, not only in terms of the beam output, but the longevity of that battery and longer run times. And so right on top, you can see the main power button here. It's kind of interesting where it's just a little bit funny. If you look at the branding, you can see obviously Nitecore name, HC75 UHE, but then you turn the light over and that says zoom and it's your power button. Now, not a big deal, just a little nuance, but as we hit the power button here, single press, and I'm going to single press between each one of the modes. This is the low mode, 200 lumens, 32 hours of runtime, 47 meters of throw. If you wait long enough, a single press will then turn the light off. So I now need to go low, medium. Medium is going to be 600 lumens, 12 hours of runtime, 82 meters of throw. The light turns off. Low, medium, high. That is 1500 lumens, 7 hours and 15 minutes of runtime, 136 meters of throw. Again, single press off. Quick double press. That's going to come on in the ultra low mode. So that's 40 lumens. That will be 84 hours of runtime, 12 meters of throw. Now a quick double press. That's going to be turbo, 3000 lumens, 4 hours and 30 minutes of runtime, 192 meters of throw. Single press is off. Now I'm on and back between those modes. Low, medium, high. Low, medium, high. With the light in the off position, quick double press to ultra low. It's a different UI. It is something to definitely get used to. But I think it's one of those things that once you're used to it, you'll kind of get it dialed in and it won't be a big deal. Turning the light back on, again, this is the low mode. I'm going to go low, medium, high. We're going to sit there for a minute. And then when I turn the light off and back on, you'll see it comes back in the low mode, so it does not have a memory mode. Again, turning the light on, I'm now going to press the zoom button, and you can see it flashes. Hold down the zoom button. It changes the beam pattern. It's changing the LEDs. It's going from spot to flood, and again, it's rampless. And you can see tightening down the hot spot. It works past that. And it kind of just continues between the modes. I'm going to kill the lights real quick and show it to you down on the surface. Right now in the ultra low mode, holding down the zoom button. Zoom has no functionality in the ultra low mode. But turning it on into the low mode, I now hold the zoom button, and you can see that's the beam fully tightened down. Hold down the zoom button. It widens and fans out and evens out. Hold down the zoom button. That tightens down. Let me widen out the angle on the camera. So now you can see down onto my work surface. This is tightened down into that zoom, fully tightened into that spot mode. Now holding the zoom button, it now widens out, fans out, nice even beam. We'll do that again. Tightening down. Look at the spill on the outside of the hotspot, outside the square. The hotspot is filling that square. Now as I hold down, widening out, softening out, hold it down again, tightening down. That is the rampless zoom. And just to point out, you don't necessarily need to hold down the zoom button. That will give you the granularity and that kind of continuous zoom. However, when you turn the light on, you can just literally single press the button and that will do the same thing. So you can press between mixed light and then a single press here. That will be the floodlight, and another single press, and that will be the spotlight. Again, mixed, flood, spot. So real quick adjustment if you just want to get between those modes. Now the HC75 has alternate modes. With the light in the off position, long press and hold the zoom button. So holding it down, you can see I am now in the red light mode. Now this will come on in red light low mode, and then I'm going to long press here. Again, that's going to turn it off. But if I work quickly, long press, now I can press, that's your power button, and that's going to go from red low to red high. Again, you need to work quickly to decide what you're going to do, because if you wait too long, and I let this time out, well, now it turns the light off. So again, you need to work quickly between the modes. That's going to definitely take some getting used to. And again, if we work quickly, we can make it between additional specialty modes. On the zoom button, a quick double press. This is going to be SOS. Now that's going to do its thing. You can see the SOS pattern. And then the power button turns the light off. I got to quickly press the power button. That goes to beacon. Now I've turned it off. Quick double press, power button, beacon, and here now it goes to the flashing red. So again, you really are going to need to get used to this. The user interface, it does its job. It's not standard, but there is a ton going on here, a lot you can do. The main thing, just realize if you take too long between decisions, it's going to turn the light off and you're kind of starting over where you were. So now as we get into the sort of field use here, the main thing for me is going to be ease of use while I'm in a work environment. Bottom line is I don't necessarily need my headlamp to be a crazy throw. I just need it to be effective with a good battery life, and as much as anything else, just easy and intuitive. Now, the first thing when I turn the light on, you'll see that I single pressed and it turned the light off. That is one thing to definitely get used to here with the HC75. But as I beam out into the distance, here you can see this is going to do a nice job illuminating the area easily. Now for me, typically, a light like this is going to be a little more close up than off into the distance. However, you can see, turn the light on, low, medium, high, low, medium, high. Again, if I wait too long or I just kind of pause for a minute, the next press is off. Now I'm going to turn the light on and cycle between the beam patterns, and this is where you can see very clearly spot. That's kind of the mixed light, and then the flood. Spot, I would say, is definitely defined as spot, and then the kind of mixed and flood, they're pretty similar. So I would go as far as to say, for the most part, I'm probably going to use spot only if I'm going at distance, which I typically, again, I'll say it again, typically don't need. I will probably typically leave this in the mixed light and a little bit of set it and forget it. Quick double press there, that is the turbo, turning the light off. Now a quick double press, and that's going to be that ultra low mode. So you can see here for up close reading, that's not bad at all. Now this is a place where I could see clicking that mode button one more time and softening the light out, but the ultra low doesn't allow you to do that. That is, by default, without any other ability to program it, set it and forget it on that beam pattern. But now again, another quick double press back to that turbo. Now I can single press, it'll go off and then back on into the low, low, medium, high. Again, double press to turbo, single press off. Long pressing now on that beam pattern button, that is giving me the red. So you can see here, if I quick double press, now I get into that specialty. So again, you kind of get that SOS. Another double press, I'm back into red. And then if I press quickly between the intensities, this is using that power button. So red on the low and the high. The high actually has some decent throw, not too bad. Now I'm going to give you a quick another double press into the specialty modes. And if I work quickly, single pressing, that's going to turn the light back off and back on. And so again, as I mentioned, a couple of little quirky things, just the idea that this light turns off. Sometimes that's not perfect. You just need to remember that pretty much while you're using this at some point, if you want to change the intensity, you're going to have to turn the light off. In my opinion, not the best, but it is what it is with the HC75 UHE. Now, a few last things to consider. This can be run off of an external power supply. So if you want to connect this to a USB Type-C connector, power bank of sorts, you could clip it to the headband, you could wear it on a pack or something along those lines, and that would give you the ability to keep this plugged in for a longer duration of time. Now, on top of all of this, comes with some nice goodies. So again, a little accessory band, which will help to, again, manage a power supply, your USB Type-C charging cable, and an excellent case. Nice that this comes with this. Not that I would necessarily need it, but I do like this, and it's a nice touch. And so all in all, this is definitely a nice headlamp. I do like it. I just don't like lights that force me into a power off mode, and especially at times where you think you need the light. I mean, let's be real. The reason why you are now going to the button is to change the intensity. And the fact that the light turns itself off at that point, I don't quite get it. It could easily be light on, and now at this point, once you've waited, long press that power button, and it turns the light off. I don't understand why I would just now wait, and now single press, and the light turns off. Why can't it just be the long press? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. So there are a couple of little funny things about this. Now, I also do like the fact that you can change the beam pattern. That's definitely effective. But I also do find that the mixed light mode and the flood spectrum mode, they're just kind of too similar. So you definitely get a difference between that tight hotspot mode and the other two. But in my opinion, where it's a headlamp, I don't necessarily personally need that big pointy beam of light off into the distance. If I'm using this for working, I'm probably doing something fairly up close or looking around my general surrounding area. That mixed beam mode's going to be more than enough. At that point, I just need to change intensities up and down to get the appropriate light volume for the work that I'm doing. So to me, again, there are just a few funny things about this, but there is no doubt this is a beautiful light. Run times are going to be fantastic. Build quality, definitely there. The headband is sweet. I like these perforated headbands quite a bit. Definitely help to breathe, and they're fairly comfortable for long-term use and very easy to adjust. You'll notice that they use some of that reflective pattern in strategic locations. So that again is the Nitecore HC75 UHE. Look in the description box below where you can find all of the relevant links for your own Nitecore products. Thank you to the people at Nitecore who did provide this for review. And for the rest of you, do me a favor, check out my Outer Limitless family of channels. Thank you guys for following along. Take care now. I'll see you soon.